Sorry.
And now, delivering the class oration, I'd like to call forward Mr. Taha Vahanvaty.
All right, Jen. This year they did something a little differently. They used to have 3 speakers, but what they did was they had everybody submit an essay, and they had a committee of faculty and staff choose who was going to do the speech. And Taha won out.
It's a great speaker. Great all-around kid.
Faculty, family, friends, staff, alumni, and the glorious class of 2021. Can you please make some noise? Now, throughout all the years we've been here at Strasbourg, we've collected friends, memories, parking citations, and a really nasty stomach bug sophomore year. But one thing I do not intend for you guys to collect through this speech is advice. In fact, I am legally obligated to say that I cannot be held liable for any of the actions taken as a result of my speech tonight. Seriously. While I don't have advice to give, I do have a couple of thoughts to share. And while that might be the graduation gift equivalent of receiving socks as a birthday present, let me tell you, socks are useful and sorely underrated. That joke was for like 4 people. My first thought is we have to embrace uncertainty. Contrary to what the world keeps trying to tell us, we don't need to have all the answers right now. And it's probably better if we don't. My second thought is that life is a learning curve, not a test. So spend time taking risks, and more importantly, spend time with your parents, in case you need a place to move back into if those risks don't work out. My third thought is that you all have a seat at something called the change makers table. Now, I know some of you are sitting there, and you may not think of yourself as change makers. But as my mother once famously said, you're wrong. In order to explain why each of you have a seat at the change makers table, I thought it best to tap into my inner SoundCloud rapper and employ the use of rhymes, or as we kids call them, straight bars. I had the good fortune to have 4 exceptional English teachers throughout my time in Strasbourg. Mr. Sabrinsky, Mrs. Bott, Mrs. Griswold, and Mrs. Davis. I wrote this with you in mind. Without further ado, here it is. Thank you. Excuse me. I want to first start off this poem with a string of thank yous to the people who have always come through with their worldviews and constantly knew how to get us out of life's blues. Thank you to the parents that drove us to show choir shows, model congress debates, track meets, and high school dances, even though it would have easily driven any of you insane. Thank you to the teachers who made students feel less like a number on a Scantron and more like a part of a word problem that actually addressed their problems. Thank you to the lunch monitors who used the coins in their pockets to buy lunch for the kids who didn't have enough money because they knew that small acts of kindness were what actually made change. Now, please put your hands together and give those folks in your life a heck of a clapping before I continue my wacky out of sorts spoken word rapping. I am in a family where I am the youngest of 4, all of whom have walked through these Strasbourg doors and who have easily decorated their rooms with accolades, trophies, and awards. I am inspired by my siblings, yes, but I have also felt inadequate because I thought I was the Vahanvaty that was counterfeit. This feeling of inadequacy was only heightened when I realized that kids our age are absolutely whack. Their resumes and LinkedIns are absolutely stacked, all while they seem to effortlessly maintain a 6-pack? How am I supposed to find a seat at the changemakers table? I asked my big sister. If my splash is just going to be lost in another genius kid's waves. That's where you're wrong, she said. Creating change is not a competition, Rather, it's a condition powered by ambition, directed by a mission to be a drop, a singular drop in the ever-expanding ocean of change. So keep on dripping, baby brother. See, you don't need to be a nationally loved senator or world-renowned adventurer, a freedom fighter or a famous writer to be able to sit at the changemakers table. To reserve your seat at this table, all you gotta do is this. Continue growing and developing your relationships. Nothing is more important than your healthy relationships, not even your dreams or what you have achieved, and here's why. Relationships are where we get to influence, impact, and change people's lives. It's frankly the best seat at the changemakers table. The positive impact you can have on those you love will long outlive your salary, your college's name, or your GPA. Be generous with your time and focus on cultivating relationships in every single chapter of your life, because your story is only as big as the other characters in them. So make sure you write about them. Our relationships are the ladders that will support us as we climb toward the stars. So let's climb, and let's grab them. Class of 2021. The Changemakers table is ours to take and for us to find. We have memories to make and relationships to bind, obstacles break and stars left to align. There are risks left to take and there are words left to rhyme. So, let's all take a seat at the Changemakers table. Because tonight, everyone's eating. Thank you.
Nice job, Taha.